Great and beautiful morning and evening to you all, wherever you are joining me at this hour. Welcome to 510 edition of InvestData Trading Academy Live with Ambrose. Yes, I'll tell you that the volatility or call it oscillation in the global market has continued to create wealth for investors. I will tell you that this big reaction to trade talks between China and US has continued to influence market sentiment and also drive for fund from one market to the other. That tells you that as a trader investor, you must pay attention to your chart at any given time because the chart will tell you the sentiment in the market at any given time, whether on a long run on a short time. That's why as you are using different time frame to look at the market, you must know exactly what you need and what you need to know. But I'll tell you that the market has opened on a brighter note. The first full trading day of the second day of the new month. Yes, this is the month we expect the earnings season to also continue for those companies that are yet to release their number. But I believe that for Nigeria here, we need to see more of a the March account between this month and the month of June. But let's start from what is happening in the global market. Let's start from Asia. As usual, I look at that market first before another market in the world. Look at Asia. Consider that Asia stocks or market are all in the green right now, as China indicates what potential US stock trade talk, and that also was seen that more earnings has been also expected in the market there or in that zone, and for that we are seeing that market is in green in that environment. For me, it's a good news for investors or traders anywhere you are in the world, because I tell you most of the international traders also invest this market, but it's a good one that sharp, I think a sharp rally, kind of tracking what is happening also in the Wall Street. Good one also before I come to US. US also is in green. On that note, that's why we are seeing that China also in the green, because there's the kind of like let's say that at the end of the day there is really a light. There's like a discussion on negotiation that's going on by almost 78 or 78 to 80 countries on this trade policy of US. I think light is coming out. If China can give sign that yes, that they are considering that the potential trade talk with US, if that that also kind of reduce the panic and the fear and also the uncertainties that is surrounding the global economy in 2025 and beyond. If this will be handled, that will be a good one. As we speak now, I think that most talk are in green, even as the mainland China bourse are closed for what for holiday. Hong Kong also listed stock but also are on the gain. Hong Kong market also was saying that those stocks are on the gain today. Asia, like I said earlier, there's a clue of some of them are having a holiday, while some are for good one that as market finished strongly on Thursday in Wall Street, that trend was also kind of overflow to Asia as the major companies earnings also coming out positively with focus in these numbers, and that also have given a relief to investors in that market. As I said earlier, this has started triggering position taking as also we are entering the month of May. Don't forget that they say a mantra in the global market that sell in May and come back now. And because of what is happening, most of the traders are really confused before now. But now that the month of May, I will going to experience that sell in May, but let's wait and see. But it's a good note that we are seeing that most of the market are rebounding powerfully this hour. So today is the last trading day of the week, even though it's the second day of the month of May. For good one that this tariff stock was seeing a little possibility if that eventually give a rule forward, a rethink in a Trump administration, that also help US also to break out from the corner they are entering because of this tariff table. I believe that it's a good discussion that it was opened by US so that they can chat it out. Once it is done, that will be good forward for the global economy. Like I said earlier, that Hong Kong is leading the gains, followed by or Australia. We're also seeing that jump also in Japan market over 1%. That is a good one in that direction. For me, I believe that this Friday is a good one. Even as Australia also retail sale also inch up marginally for the month of March, which is also a good one. That the sale volume, even though it was flat in first quarter, for a good one to start the month of the good what will happen in this second quarter. Japan, Australia is up by 1.2%, and that is a good one for Japan. I believe that is also for me. South Korea is also is up by almost 0.3. That is a good one also for this one. But good thing is that India market is up by 0.8%. I believe that it's also worth saying that we're seeing a really market rebounding. Going back to what is happening also in in Europe market as we speak now. Yes, because of this positive information as regards the trade news, I think that it's rubbing up nearly all the market across the globe. As we speak now, even in Europe, where all eyes are still on more earnings to hit the market, I'll tell you that European stocks or market are also in the green. As a result of what on China, talk optimism, and also looking out also to all these small companies to share more light in terms of their earnings to give a direction. Don't forget that before now, I think that funds have left US market for this Europe market because of what the low P ratio of stock there, and also I think that most companies that are international companies are the one being favored by what by this seller US weakness, and probably we're going toward those international companies. And I believe that this also will continue in Europe as we speak now. As Friday today was a strong gain or a strong rally that boosted by what by this trade hopes on what on trade talks between US and what and China. Why investors digest all these missed numbers, some numbers are coming powerfully. Yes, as the numbers are increasing, a lot of what analysis is going on. That's why you also need to pay attention to what is happening in the market as we speak. But I believe that this potential trade talk is also a good stimulus that has also triggered positive sentiment. If you look at the market in that Eurozone, I can tell you that Germany market, or what we call that's for Germany is up by 1.5%. This switch, that of CASF 40 in France also up by 1.3, and I won't leave UK market, which is FTSE 100 is also up by 0.9. This is huge for me. These are the most active markets, in UK and Europe, and also after what the public holiday, yesterday for May Day. Now I believe that it's a good start for the month of May, and I believe that what I said earlier, I want to see more of this volatility, and that's why you must shine your eyes to know when to work, to plug into the market, especially as you are seeing the Q1 number to give you an insight of what to do. As well as I also expect to see potential corporate earnings from share, and share potential Q1 number also will give an insight of where fund is flowing to. We need to also look at that also, and that as well. Speak now, share stop is also looking up. We expect to see more. Also, the bank also have released their number. Also, big banks also lender that also in Denmark also are also looking to expect the world to see their result. And also, I believe that as numbers remain positive, as we are forecasting a green number in that environment, we expect to see more of this. Also, Eurozone inflation and employment data is also due. All eyes are still on this figure to see what they want to point to. Because I tell you that these are the things, even though it's a past event, will tell you where the economy is heading to guide you. For why for you to know exactly what's happening, you have to pay attention on the technical. Every data is coming, or every corporate earnings are talking about the past. But for you to get really what is happening as we get to this past information is what the technical analysis. That's why you must pay attention. Even at these numbers, macroeconomic data are important, but you need to also pay attention what is the market reaction, because it helps you to forecast what the future will look like. For good numbers, once we see them, let's wait and see, because all our eyes are on this number to see that between now and later today, you see to see all this report. Once they come, we'll give an insight. Yes, also like earlier, also you can see that Germany also particularly manager index is also looking up. We are seeing a little improvement from 48.3 in March now to 48.4. Even yet it's still below the 50 basic point for manager index. It's an improvement. That's also a good one for Germany. And don't forget that last week I said that there's a change of leadership or government. If that also they come with a lot of reform, that also impact the market. Knowing that Germany is what is the biggest economy in that Eurozone. What is happening there has a lot of influence, and that's why attention is also needed to be given so that it can guide you to make informed decision. Yes, but I see that oil price also inched up this morning at the end of what he recorded a loss last week. But on Friday, today we're seeing that it's taking up, even as heading to also record another loss for the week. But good one that we're seeing that oil prices looking up. That's also been like a signal positive for the economy for those that are really looking at it, because if China and US trade talk will go through, that will also help toward the oil price to rebound. And for us in Nigeria, where our benchmark is 75 for our budget, our price below 70, then a rebound will also be a plus, help us also to have a positive economic here, even as our macroeconomic data is also looking up gradually and showing. All eyes are still on our GDP and inflation figure for April, and GDP for April to guide the FPC meeting in their May meeting. But we'll go back to US to what is happening to the US market. I'll tell you the US market, even as the China trade talk is on as we speak now, the China trade talk is also a good one that are giving direction. Also, Apple and Amazon results also, and also the budget proposal in US are likely also to guide investors in that environment. Well, as we speak now, US market has also opened in the green as hope of what of losing lesson of tension between China and US over trade. This is a good one, even as some disappointing figures also from guys from Apple and Amazon way on the market, but I believe the market has also opened in green in US, which is a good one. As we speak now, Danjo is future is up by almost 0.4%. S&P is also up by 0.4%, and Nasdaq is also up by what 0.2%. Good one for a start for US market. Good one, good one. But I believe that as we look forward to see more information as regards this trade discussion, that will also give a clear direction as where the market is also be going into the month of May. I believe that investors across the globe should not panic, but I believe that this oscillation of volatility is also going to buy low and sell high, and do it what with knowledge. As far as are still a word on payroll release any moment from now, from US, that also give us the state of what the economy and the labor situation in that environment. Don't forget that any economy is what the labor and are used to oil the economy. The purchasing power of any economy is very, very important. Let's go to see this figure, and also what is also this number that are coming from these two companies, Apple and Amazon. You can see that their forecast for me is not appealing, it's disappointing. You can see that already the tariffs are started hitting them. I believe that it is a call for a quick review. I believe that that's why US is not joking. I believe that the discussion is ongoing at the end of the day. But I believe that as we expect that oil price will rebound, let's see how far it will go. I'll tell you that the price are pulled back, and that will also support different economy and also keep also world economy also flowing in a right direction. But before we go to the real discussion for today, I'll tell you that we'll look at the figure that I expected to see in Nigeria, and that figure will come out from the second week, especially the April inflation figure, GDP figure. These are things that also help us to plan here. At the same time, the earnings that are coming from from listed company are giving us a clue what we expect in terms of GDP for first quarter in 2025 for Nigeria. We have seen a positive number, so that the economic activities also remain in green. I was also glad to see our GDP also growing, even when the World Bank has downgraded our growth. But I believe that our Q1 for 2025 will come up positively, and that will also guide investors to know where to pay their attention, seeing this number at the end of the day. For me, there's no cause for alarm. We are seeing positive number, and market is already reacting to that, even when we see kind of a pullback in the market. Yes, come to West Africa market. Look at African market. I'll tell you that South Africa, Ghana, and other African countries, we are seeing also a mixture. Good thing that most of them are in green as a breakout of what is happening, knowing that this emerging market we are seeing fund because of what the undervalued state of these companies, that values in those countries, and not Nigeria is not left behind. We're seeing that the numbers that are coming here are also positive. Although this our market is in red, marginally in red. I mean, marginally market is down by just 0.07, negative 52.50 in terms of basic point. I believe that as market react to earnings, some are also taking opportunity to take profit after the market have closed marginally flat for the month of April, trying to cut the loss market recorded in March. But for April we saw a 0.13 gain. But I can see that this month we are seeing that some people are taking profit in the market. That's why we are seeing this trend. But I believe that as we go proper into the month of May, market will find a direction on the strength of data and also the economic activities or events that we're looking forward to. But as we speak now, the market is trading 105,725.34. That is what the market is trading right away as we speak. Even right now, you can see that market also adjusted a bit down. You can see I said that before 105,755. Now, as of right now, look at where my cursor is now. Market is already almost 105,679.67. That market is rather almost 0.09% as we speak. 0.09% as we speak. But if you look at the market bread is really in red. We're having more sellers in the market than buyers now. We're having a 20 stop on the gainer chart, or advanced as we will call it, but we're having about 38, 37 down in red as we speak. Tells you that people are taking profit in the market. But I believe that the Nigerian market in the month of in the month of May have defied, sell in May and what and come back in October. But out of both 25 years, our market, 27 years, our market is up in green in the month of May 18 times, just down for 9 years. Tell you that the sell in May that have only dominated the mattress in an advanced market have not worked effectively in the Nigerian market because of a different characteristic and also fundamental. For that, also we are seeing that as markets are pulled back from the month of March, I try to also flat in April. I see opportunity that May might be a good market. Why? May has always favor our market. I told you earlier that the history which data we have seen in the InvestData that market closed up for 18 times in 27 years, and now for just only 9 years. Tell you that more activities are what for the month of May. For that, let's hope that yes, as we expect to see more March accounts and more of a Q1 number, and those that are yet to release their unaudited account, that also gives strength to the market. And also, as investors, especially institutional investors, are seeing, because I told them earlier in our group that this number of Q1 will give a lot of insight what institutional investors have been doing. Now that we're seeing, the coast is gradually becoming clear in terms of a trade tariff, by Trump, and that also where funds are flowing. And also, we're seeing impressive number coming from from managers in Nigeria, corporate bodies in Nigeria. That is that because of these numbers, producing higher dividend payout at a part price. That is why I expect that when the institutional investor comment, the portfolio reflection will continue. That is why you, as a trader investor, you have to also look at your portfolio. That is why our topic tomorrow at Q&A session is what how to do how the power of sector rotation into buying into value. You must be in that class. If you are not a subscriber, it is time for you to do that. For those that are enjoying free class here, supporting for you to extend so that you get more value for what you are doing in that forum. You need to be there. Yes, like I just said that out of this the 2020 gainers, we want to look at them and see how these companies are also fair at this time. It's very, very important to pay attention to them. I can see the life of Cabri topping the list, and also I've seen also CWG. Oh, these are the top gainers you can see now. NACO, you can see that the numbers company are released, the market already reacting to it. That's why you must pay attention. On the loser side, we can see the life of some banks like Access and all. But today, like our topic said, we're going to look at what is happening in the figure released by the major figures, especially the GT banks and the Access, Zenith Bank, then and the CWG. We want to look at these numbers for today. Quickly, let's start from GTB. Yeah, start from GTB bank figure right away. Okay, it's not coming up here. Let me quickly go to Access Bank. Yes, yeah, this is the number from Access Bank. And before I go to talking about this banking stock, banking numbers, I want to explain what I've observed on the numbers I've seen so far. Yes, if you look at the numbers released in Q1 from the banking sector, yes, most of the banks have posted a positive number, some almost flat number, whilst we are seeing a decline in their bottom line. Why their top line remain also positive? Tell you that the banks are still expanding their business. But one thing you should know that the area of FS gain that that boosted their performance in the previous year also will not be there again, because stability has come again. They have revalued those numbers, those exchange rate or those foreign exchange rate to what it is now. That means you want to see less of FS gain from these banks. When it moves from 400 to 500, 500, you can see the gain there, and that is why I think the wisdom CBN also exhibited that yes, banks will not pay dividend from their FS gain. You can see that now the FS gain is stemming out. That also starts showing in their bottom line. That means some of them were just the one-off deal. The gain was reflected in the account. Now that it's not there, it's showing. That means that these banks are doing badly. Although they have at the back of your mind that it's an one-off transaction that was posted. This was to go to their most of them go to their balance sheet. Once they posted in their profit and loss account, that boosted their number, which is good also. But now that those things are there, we want to see the real activities of this bank. But also the good thing is that the interest rate in Nigeria remain relatively high, which also you can see that their interest income has not changed. It's still looking big and strong because of exchange rate is high. But another thing is that if you're looking at their number, take time, look at the provision they are making for non-performing loan. And that you ask yourself why? Because in an environment where you are having high interest rate, defaulters rate will likely to be high. But most of them that are smart and very strategic in managing their their debt, you can see that yes, it's almost flat, some is huge, because they have the provision for that. And that's why when CBN said, okay, you're not going to pay from your FS gate, it's for a purpose. And also why some banks are denying not to pay as huge as others is because of one, either they are rising high, non-performing loan, and also what we call bad loan, which they're going to put provision. At the end of the day, we are seeing it reflecting in their first quarter. Now, how far will it go? But I believe that if there will be rate cut in the future, that will be a plus. But this provision these banks are doing for bad loan or impairment is going to be a form of asset. But when they start realizing this, they're going to post as come as well as profit in their account. We need to pay attention. And also with the banks, most successfully hitting their 500 billion capital base. It tells you that these banks are solid to do bigger business. I believe that this attention to invest in a bank should pay attention. Yes, don't use their first quarter number now to write these banks away. But if you see their first quarter putting the right price down, it's an opportunity for you to position in them, knowing that yes, the future for these banks are still bright. Even when they cut rate in Nigeria, because when they cut rate, we are going to see a number of people as putting the banks, now become a business of volume to want to take loan. The high cost of loan also is putting them into what? Into having a increasing impairment. But also when rate is cut, don't forget that this bank will still make money because they create money through interest, and that's why a number of people will increase that will come to work, or people that are collecting loan can also increase the volume of loan they are collecting. This is why I believe that banks at any time is a place to pay attention. One, they are well regulated, and at the same time they are the engine of any economy. That means now with the I just said earlier, with the 500 billion, most of these banks have a holding structure. That means they can do other business that also part their bottom line at the end of the day with this money they are having. I believe that banks where we should not really totally turn our back to, but rather you want to invest wisely as well, looking at what they have. If you look at assets result, I will tell you that assets have reviewed a lot of value for me. Yes, you can see that the profit for the period, because instead of me reading you have seen all this one before now. What I want to explain is what I just told you earlier, that don't expect to see the kind of growth you saw in the previous year because of FS FS gain they recorded, because it has gone. Now we start seeing numbers in this current financial year and going to the future. But the beauty that because I said because of that 500 billion new capital base that this bank sits on money to drive the 1 trillion economy of the government, dream. And I believe that this one is the right direction. But also most of them are spending and kind of taking their operation outside the shore of Nigeria, and where you operate matters. Most of them are operating in South Africa, in Southern Africa, some are in the North Africa, some are in the West Africa. Which one area do that? Yes, there's a lot of value. And some of the African countries are really encouraging most of the banks in Nigeria to come, and also consider that they are giving them good landing condition to operate. That also going to boost the activity at the end of the day. That's why for the bank like assets that we're explaining now, looking at the interest, you can see that it moved from about 600 and something billion to at the end of the day, that impacted also their top line. Looking at their interest income, their fee and commission and other business, I believe that this also and their trading income, this also I believe that is a good one for Access Bank. For those that are thinking what to do, I think this is a bank that should start buying now into value, because I tell you, as they're slowing down in their position, whether they tell you or not, as well that they want also create value for you, because the bank is strategically positioned in Africa, in Southern Africa, North South Africa, Southern Africa, also South Africa Central, North Africa, and South Africa, West Africa. You need to know that these are the things that will do. For me, I believe that value will start coming. I mean, if you are thinking medium and long, I think it's a place to be on the strength of their number and also on their expansion. If you look at all the balance sheet of all these banks, both assets, both that of Zenith Bank, GTB, these are good assets that yes, every investor want to look at before we're putting money. They are having assets that tell you that yes, they are strongly not there. They are standing fully for me. You can see that even as at only the first quarter, look at the year, total asset is about 41, but only in third quarter you can see what their asset is. It tells that this bank is also waxing strong and stronger. For me, it's a place to be. The 2 naira 5 kobo they pay. For me, yes, it's a good one for investor, but you might say it's low compared to the peers in the market. But I believe that there are some. Also, look at how the price have moved from the stage from can't change the price of assets as at 8 years ago, and you can see value created. Also, look at some banks that have been even at their selling at the same price at what they are selling like 20 years ago, 8 years ago. It tells for me, I believe that some banks are better value, especially Access Bank, GTCO, Zenith Bank, UBA, and others. But I believe that for you as a trader investor, know why, because that's why these numbers are very, very important. But my major point of view is that don't expect to see the kind of bumper, gain they recorded in FS gain that will also boost their bottom line. But any of them that are putting a growth in their bottom line as to speak now is a place to be. Yes, we can look at what is happening in Zenith Bank because of our time. Look at Zenith Bank results. For me, it's also a good one. It's a pointer that even Zenith Bank gross earnings is also heading to almost a trillion for first quarter. Just like we saw in that of Access. Access is already having some assets or doubling some assets of or other banks. I just said there is value in that kind of when you see that kind of asset that we see in the assets now, say that at the time is coming where assets will blow. That means we need to start keying. So that those are taking medium and long term principle. For Zenith Bank, for me, it's a good one. No, look at their full year for 24 up about almost 4 trillion, 9.797. Now, only in their first year alone for 2025, they have got almost a trillion forward for their gross earning. It's a point where they are going at the end of the year. This bank hitting 5 trillion or 4.8 trillion is possible because they have started on a good foot. Note for me, I believe it's a place also to be looking at their top line that's also expanding. Yes, also content I see. Yes, you can also say that yes, most of the growth for these banks, some of them are below the inflation rate, while some are above it. Which also I believe that there's a principle I have in InvestData. Once a company earnings is above the inflation rate, you can see that you can smile and say yes. But also, let's see what we'll see in their Q2. It's very, very important. And that is where they will reward an investor. But they are not being badly looking at their Q1. It's important that yes, most of them will still sustain their word, their trade dividend at the end of the day. You must pay attention to these banks. Especially if you look at also for Zenith Bank, go and look at their word, their impairment charge. Like I said, you can see it's almost the same, so yeah, it's marginally down because of their own risk management. You can see that it's huge because even in an environment where there's a high interest rate, we are seeing this. For me, I believe that it's also a good one to say that their risk management is also high, and also that is a good one for Zenith. You can see how also they more than double their interest income. Here you can see it here separately. At the end of the day, their net interest, we can see what happened here. For me, I believe that it's also a good one. Their trading income, you can see also that their trading income also have dropped from, you can see it here to 22. Also, you can see that fee and commission was almost flat. Why the trading income also dropped, you can see because of what the one-off thing in 2024. It's also we're now seeing that gradually business activities of banking and others is reflecting why the FS gain was not really their business but just a plus for them. But now that we're seeing the real activities, for me, I would say this is a good one for Zenith Bank. At the end of the day, because Zenith Bank still also grew their bottom line, which is very, very important, from 258.38 billion to 311.83 billion. It is a good one for Zenith Bank to start the current financial year. And one thing I will tell you that in Zenith Bank for the past 20 to 30 years, every year on quarterly and yearly basis, this bank will grow their earnings. That means it's a bank that is also to water. That is why when they remain, the profitable bank for almost 7 years before we saw GTB take not GTB, this will only take over in their payout in terms of dividend, but in terms of profitability, Zenith Bank can remain the most profitable bank in Nigeria this hour as we speak because of what their performance. And in terms of payouts now, for what we saw in 2024 at the end of the financial year, seeing other banks being ahead of them, I'm not surprised that Zenith Bank also do the same. Starting on this footing was in the first quarter, that is also a plus for them. We further go that to look at what banks their balance sheet. You can see here that there's a marginal down their EPS, and which were not surprised because of all the additional share that also have been factored in at the end of their primary market activity. I'll tell you, this number is still very, very strong to support a higher payout at the end of the day. But that means there's no cause for alarm. You can see that their balance sheet is also very, very robust. I've seen them moving from 20, total asset moving from 24 point. We're not reading all this one because I know we have seen them. What matter that is pay attention is this we're also looking at. Then you go to their equity, holding, you can see that also their retained earnings is not looking bad at all. You check and see that the bank is also expanding in terms of their retained earnings. And tell you, even when the CBN said that these retained earnings will not be used as was still, I see that there is also doing well in that regard. You can see it here, and also a plus. I believe that this half year that about investors in Zenith Bank, investors were a better dividend at the end of the day. But we also go to their balance sheet. Why we go to their cash flow? I've told you earlier that for banking sector, even when their cash flow is negative, you don't need to bother yourself because of the nature of their, unless when it becomes consistent in that, yes, you can now be fine, but as far they are in their business of lending, you must also see that all remaining in negative, but positive will be +1. You can see what I'm saying for Zenith Bank from a negative of how many 5 billion to almost 800, and it tells you this bank is solid, and I'm not surprised. It's also inflow that is coming also from the private activity. It's also reflecting in all of their account. We quickly go back to that of GT because of our time to see look at GT number. This number for me is not a bad one, and because we have seen the impact of one-off transaction, now real business is what, like I said earlier, that's why we are seeing a kind of decline in their their bottom line, but their top line also still remain marginally up, but which is also a good one. Look at their interest from, you can see that their interest is still also positive. If you come here and look at the net interest income, that's why it's still positive from 227.3 billion to 318.34 or 36. I mean, they can see it at the end of the day. I think that also their payment is almost correct. I can see loan repayment charges almost correct. Like I said, these are the things that also pay attention to when all these are well handled at the end of the day. You see, yes, like I mentioned that the FS gain boosted their Q1 2024. You can see that now with less than consider the re-operation here for me it's also a good one. And also at the end of the day, the cost of their issue increase their capital, it's also further also affect their what affect their earning per share. But earning per share of 7 naira at the first quarter is not a bad one. You can equally focus that nothing less than 40 naira at the end of the day is also possible for this company. For me, it's a good one for GTCO. And then because of what time I said, let's quickly see that another company, and that is what CWG. CWG, I would say that this is a company that is coming up in the in the tech industry that is outstanding, and also already giving value for stock for investors. I mean, and it's a growth company, and there's potential. Don't forget that growth companies don't pay too much dividend, but their numbers will speak for them. And I believe that this company has also really successfully designed a software that Nigeria banks are running with. Also have a contract with most of Nigeria banks, and not only that, it's a company that I believe that share issue is relatively small, and also they are branch out of Nigeria in terms of expanding their operation. For me, the numbers I'm seeing seek the top volume or kind of reflect where the company is going. Yes, tech companies taking over the world, but I believe that also don't forget that there's a time of .com where many people lost money, both in the material economy and even here in Nigeria. Now we are seeing a new tech company taking a direction. For me, it's a place that we should also look at. Look at the top line of this company from 8.38 billion to 15.32 billion. That is huge. It says that it's almost 100% up. For me, strong double digit for a start for Q1 is a pointer to where the company is going. At the end of the day, other incomes will increase from can say just 300 and something thousand to almost 70 million. For me, it's also a good one for investors to watch. And the operating expenses also was up. You can see there. One thing is that you must pay attention to things that matters when it comes to looking at apart from banking, where this company operation is going. At the end of the day, as they are doing their top line, they also double their bottom line. Their bottom line is fantastic. I tell you that trade from 15 million. If you also look at the profit margin, it's still not too attractive over there. If they are making almost 15 million, but because we see that the bottom line is on a positive direction from 316.09 million to 1.48 billion is also a good one for the company. I believe that it's a good start for the current financial year, and this way investors start paying their dent because it's a pointer. Also, they are good. They are paid out from the last 3 years to show that they also a good paying dividend. Even though they are a growth company, they are still company that only that you can see that their payout is low for their price, but that's that it's a growth company that is heading somewhere. That means you must pay attention to this kind of stuff when you are looking at what the market, where to put your money. And their assets also, balance sheet is not looking bad. The balance sheet is also expanding at the end of the day. You can see how their total assets also have moved from 29.95 billion to almost 37 billion. For me, it's also a good sign that this company knows it. At the end of the day, look at their retained earnings. Look at their retained earnings for the end of the day. It also increased from 3. For me, This also where you should also look at. These are very, very important things to look at for any volatility you are looking at. What will support the expansion of this company, and also where are they headed to. The cash flow of this company is also where we want to pay attention to. It's very, very important. But if you look at their cash flow for the first quarter of the year, yes, cash flow for investing and for financing, in fact, it might be negative, but cash flow operation is very, very important. But for CWG, we have seen that for the first quarter, about a negative cash flow for 1.6 8 billion has dropped to that means as we are still going to the current financial year, the more we'll see them moving from the negative cash flow to positive one, even as it's a pointer that efficiency is coming back, and also they are meeting their own. I believe that this is where you can pay attention to, and also think your position, and let your what investment go and your trade plan guide you or what to. But I see value in the stock on the strength of their number. On this note, I will say thank you. We'll discuss more of these numbers in our class, in our Q application tomorrow by 12 o'clock. I look forward to seeing you all there by tomorrow. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your trading day. Bye.